We're in Panama City tonight, and this isn't a show about answers, it's about echoes. Moments that don't leave quietly. Songs that follow you home, even when you try to forget them. The Gone Kids didn't plan to be a band, but Reckoners of the Afternoon happened anyway. 12 tracks. Some pulled straight from memory, others traced from long drives through Valle del Cauca and streets that haven't been mapped yet, but feel like someone lived there. Tonight, we start with a window, half open, half haunted. I'm Loney.
And I'm Skye. This isn't a feature, it's the start of something that never asked permission. A band stitched from strange cities, long nights, and lyrics that bruise more than they explain. This is the Gone Kids.
Reckoners of the Afternoon didn't come clean. It came wrapped in static, in ash, in all the things we said too late. Scattered weekends, burned out highways, songs that feel like places you can't return to because part of you never left.
It was written across cities and myths, from cracked estates in South London to the sodium-lit corners of Cali after dark. An indie rock record stitched with broken love stories and songs that sound like someone left the room too soon. Jensen's second voice and the instrument that makes everything feel more fragile than it should. Tyler Lyons, lead vocal and guitar, always loudest when he's pretending not to care. And Russell, drummer, founder. He rarely sings, but somehow his lyrics leave the deepest cut. 3 angles, no exits, one band, the Gone Kids. Russell, your songs don't just land, they settle. Which one stayed long after it should have ended?
The one that gutted me was Mothlight. I was coming back from Palmyra. Took the long way, didn't want to go home. Kept driving until the signs stopped making sense. Puerto Tejada, dust everywhere. That kind of silence that sticks to your teeth. There's a line, I'm a light with no home. I were. Didn't know it till that night.
You'll hear it in Mothlight, that shimmer under the verses. It wasn't some big story, just something I couldn't drop, so I played it until it stuck. I still flinch when it hits the second chorus. No idea why, but it always does.
Mothlight doesn't hit you right away. It just sits there like something you forgot to deal with. You think it's fading, but it stays, and by the time you notice, it's already got its hands on you.
Mothlight never really starts. You catch it mid-thought, like walking into a room where something just ended. It doesn't ask for your attention. It just stays.
They're not going to guide you through it. That's not how the Gone Kids do things.
Yeah.
They open a window, then leave the room.
So here it is, track 1, Mothlight, from Reckoners of the Afternoon by the Gone Kids. A track that moves like a shadow.
Is that so wrong? Is that so wrong? And I go running back to where I burned too slow. I'm a moth in your glow. I'm alive with no hope.
That was Mothlight. Track 1 from Reckoners of the Afternoon by the Gone Kids.
Some silences don't come after the noise. They settle in its place. This one does.
Russell, you wrote it. What were you sitting with?
A room that still smelled like her. The boots were by the door, the kettle was full, but she was already gone.
There's no big ending, just things going quiet too slow to notice.
You keep talking like someone's still on the other end, but nothing's coming back.
Shortwave static in my chest. Socks on the heater. I tried to call you, but even the dial gave up. We buried our songs in the floorboards, folded like unpaid letters. Left the kettle on for closure. Never got much better. I spoke in lowercase longing. You laughed in caps lock lies. We broke like borrowed speakers, humming haunted goodbyes. Did we drift or did we dive? Was it dead or just alive? A minute later, meter wide. You held the echo, I held the line. Radio silence, no voice, no trace. Volume low on your leaving face. I still sleep with the static on, just in case, just in case. There's soup in the sink, cold and loud, and this flat still smells like our doubts. Ashtrays full of unfinished thoughts. You left your boots, but not your shouts. You always tuned me out mid-word, like I was part-time transmission. Now I count the seconds in syllables and find ghosts in repetition. Every station, same delay. Every hallway sounds like gray. You took the song and left the play, and I just sit in yesterday. Radio silence across my floor. Still hear you through the door. No music left to fake, but I still hit play. No signal, no sign, just silence, all mine.
You called it radio silence.
Because that's what it was. The world still wired for her, but no return, just static.
That one was radio silence, like a message you never got to send.
We move now into a different kind of memory, one where the heartbreak isn't romantic, it's academic, institutional. High school corridors and fluorescent lights, a track that smells like chalk dust and old speakers.
Fall Semester is Jeremy's. It's youth in the rearview mirror. The kind of song that catches you off guard when you walk past your old school and realize the building remembers more than you do.
It's full of small things, lines you never said, people you never meant to hurt, things you never quite understood until much later. I wrote it in pieces. Some of it came from a detention slip, some of it from a hoodie I never got back.
It's not even about one semester. It's every weird season you thought was your whole life until it wasn't.
I always felt like this one moved like a broken train. Familiar stops, but the timing's off. That's what growing up is, maybe. Missing your own cues.
Bell rang wrong, someone threw a chair. I laughed too loud just to fill the air. Second floor window, smoke sneaks in, math books soaked in doodles, ink and sin. You wore that hoodie 4 days straight, said rules were soft if you show up late. Skip the test, watch trains instead, counting tracks like they were threads. The gym lights buzz like broken plans. We made gods out of weekend cans, and the hallway hums like it knows who we were. Boys in between the blur and the stir. Fall semester falling faster, names in locker scatter laughter. We were barely even here, left a shadow, left no cheer. You kissed the teacher's niece at prom. I got detention, wrote a song. We lit the fire alarm for fun, watched the halls empty one by one. No one told us endings sting. We thought every break was spring, but the bell rang and you were gone. Left my hoodie, took your wrongs. Library lights flickered slow, chalk dust ghosts from weeks ago. You were a page folded in bed, and I was late and I was spent. Fall semester faded sweater, we held days like they were never. No return and no one guessed. We were loud but never left. Empty desk, empty for remember, no one there.
And you're still with us on Thursday's rounds.
That one was Fall Semester, the sound of a hallway you never really left.
Next up is Even Ever, and this one belongs to Tyler. Not just the voice, but the bones. There's something about the way it holds back, like it's confessing and retracting at the same time.
This one opens like a flickering light in an empty flat, familiar socket, blown fuse, but you still flip the switch.
I was trying to write something honest without telling the truth. I guess I wanted to admit things sideways. About the way we dodge real things until they go quiet. You keep the light on, but you never walk through the door.
There's a lot of weight in how this one never explodes. It just simmers. Like the argument you don't have because the silence already won.
There's a guitar pulse in the middle that never lets go, almost like a warning, or a breath you're holding.
I buried the apology under everything, even the loud parts.
Left the hall light on, don't know why. Maybe I still think you're walking by. Same cracked socket, same blown fuse, same excuses I always use. The kettle's full, but for something real, but never knew how not to kneel. I was never even on the edge, even with the burn, even on the ledge, even when I learned, even when I said, even ever still unsaid.
That one was even ever, like trying to speak through a closed door. Bedroom Flags is Jeremy again, and this time it's less memory, more imprint. The way people leave outlines in rooms, sounds that stay in the pillows. And this was the moment the swells came together. Those youth harmonies you hear rising like a memory that refuses to dissolve.
We used to write on the windows. Not like poetry, just things you wanted to forget later. This one's a slow collapse, a mattress with no frame. That feeling when something's still warm, but already over.
Some of the lyrics feel like graffiti from the night before, like you're not even sure who wrote them.
I always like the way the harmonies don't resolve. It's intentional. It leaves everything a bit unfinished.
Clocks blink 12, even though it's 10. Room smells like static and menthol pens. Hoodie on the bedpost, flag from summer's end. You drew a map on my shoulder, then left with no intent. Curtains clipped, moon comes in. Sweat on the floor, recycled sin. You kept your shoes on, I took mine off. We met somewhere between enough and too much. Left your gum in my ashtray, called it a truce. Wrote, don't grow up in the steam of my fuse. And maybe that was it. The point of the kiss, not to last, just to
That was Bedroom Flags. And this is still Thursday's Rounds. Paper Saints is Tyler's again. It's the one with clenched teeth and clenched fists. A slow burn resignation song dressed up like a workplace anthem.
I wrote it when I almost quit a job I'd already quit in my head. It's about escaping with flair, but quietly. There's a punch in there, just offbeat.
There's a pulse in the verses that feels like pacing, like you're stuck in a hallway with no end.
The chorus wants to break out, but it keeps getting called back to the desk.
Matchbooks in the drawer, ash on the floor, notes from no one, taped to the door, crosses cut in notebook lines, prayers scribbled without spines. We swore we'd never fake it, then sang it like we meant it. You lit a candle in your shoes, said it made you run more true. I wore a medal under my shirt, like a shield, like a curse. Sunday talk in hallway tones, bless me brother, I'm alone. We called ourselves the hopeful few, but mostly we just blew through. And every song was almost belief, and every riff a stolen grief. Just practice pain, so we rehearsed again and again. You crossed your heart, I crossed the wires. We both sparked, we both got tired. The pulpit was the rooftop edge. We preached in jeans and lack of pledge. No sermons, just distortion. No guilt, just absorption.
Paper Saints. Loud in your head, but quiet on the street. That one was Paper Saints.
Quiet rebellion in pressed shirts and unpaid hours. This next one turns sharper. It's Russell's again, and it sounds like it.
I remember the moment too clearly. It was one of those split-second regrets you agree to anyway. Someone says don't, and you already did.
It's got that energy, like flirting with a warning label.
And then blaming the burn on the match, not the spark.
I tried to make it sound smooth, but underneath, it's desperate. There's no distance, no irony, just impact.
Don't answer that. You said half laughing, but I already had, and I already cracked. You weren't the type I should chase. Too clean, too cruel, too much grace. But I showed up with excuses in my coat, in my face. You wore danger like perfume. I wore silence like a room. You said don't make it mean more, and I made it mean doom. We were long nights, wrong lights, double tags, no rights. I knew better, but I stayed. You were thunder, I got played. Every look said leave, but I fell for it anyway. We talked like trains pass, fast and never clear. I saved your notes like warnings, still read them, still here. You broke things soft but left loud. I took your word and wore it proud. You knew, yeah. You knew, I know. I knew better, but I stayed. You were thunder, I got played. Every look said leave, but I fell for it anyway. Still feels good, still sounds right, even now in the dark of the night. I knew better, but I stayed, and I fell for it anyway.
Act.
The vocal swells come in hot, like they're trying to warn you, but they show up late. That was Fell for It Anyway, a song that knows better, but leans in. Fell for It Anyway left a mark. This one traces where it cracked.
Choreographed the break was me looking back at a slow-motion ending. One where every step felt practiced, even the fall.
The rhythm of denial. You keep dancing, even when the music's wrong.
And no one says the word. You just step around it, like it was never part of the set.
Feet hit floor, 4-count fight. Left, right, left, you didn't say goodnight. Steps rehearsed before the split. I packed my silence, you clapped your wit. We danced like sirens in the hall. You leaned too far, I took the fall. We mask. You wore goodbye like a flask. We looped the part where we said wait, just to syncopate the hate. Curtains down, but still on stage. Your voice a line I can't erase. The lights went out on cue, but I still saw you. Step back, don't turn, take the hit. We choreographed the break. No surprise, no mistake. It was written in the floor. We just danced through the war. Steps in silence, shoes untied, curtain fallen, no more guide.
There's something honest in that. No final act, just someone missing their cue. Choreograph the break. When timing hurts more than the silence. This one's Tyler again. Plastic Parade. It's the kind of track that pretends it's marching, but nothing's actually moving.
It's about performance, celebration that doesn't belong to you, like clapping on command for a show that already ended.
You wear your best face, even when it doesn't fit.
And every trophy's plastic, but you line them up anyway.
March starts slow, no crowd to see. Confetti falls in front of me. Plastic crown bent in half, name tag from a faded past. You smile wide for phantom clicks, trophies stacked on melting bricks. You raised your hand like it was earned, but no one asked, and nothing turned. The tape still played the anthem fake. You mouth the lines we used to break, and the brass band never learned our names, but we kept in step like it was a game. Plastic parade, flags that fade. We walked proud through the downgrade. It looked like gold, but it flaked and frayed. Your shoes were polished, but your eyes sunk. I kept the beat, but felt the funk. Someone filmed us for the feed, but silence followed every lead.
That was Plastic Parade. Still smiling, still spinning, but everyone's already gone.
Crashing on the drive home. It doesn't unfold, it echoes. A memory that doesn't ask to be remembered, but shows up anyway.
It's about the roads you take when you're not ready to go home. I turned left when I shouldn't have. But the crash wasn't that night. It was building long before. Every street just said it louder.
The verses feel like headlights in rain. They catch pieces of things, then lose them just as fast.
I kept hearing that refrain, that blurry synth we buried in the back, like breath on glass.
The long road, took the long road, took the long road. Windows down, eyes full of brake lights. Late again, same track, same fight. See the bell start for a million. Dashboard glow matches my skin. Didn't mean to say it that loud. Didn't think the silence would sound like broken glass over everyone. Your name's still blurred, but the echoes clear. I took the long road, took the long road, took the long road, took the long road. I took the long road, took the long road, took the long road, took the long
That was Crashing on the Drive Home. It doesn't replay, it loops. Like a memory you can't fast forward, only feel again.
Indigo Rebellion. This one doesn't ask questions. It kicks the door and stays loud. It's defiance with no audience, just breath, fists, and something burning under the skin.
I didn't want to write something pretty. I wanted to write something that stood up and refused to blink. No explanations, no soft landings.
That loop at the center? It barely holds. Built it in one take, everything off balance, patched with instinct. But that's why it works. It's not polished. It's pressure.
The chorus doesn't rise, it smolders, like a flare lit out of habit, not hope. It wasn't written to be heard, just to release pressure.
Backyards lit by traffic glow. Shoelaces frayed, too proud to show. Sky burns orange behind the fence. Shots bounce off brick and consequence. Tore the sleeves off my OTT. Spray painted nowhere a name should be. You laughed and climbed the schoolyard gate. We weren't late, we never came. Sideways
That was Indigo Rebellion. All nerve, no filter. Like a bruise that doesn't ask who started it.
A Good Exit, the final track. No printed lyrics, no take two. Just a breath that didn't wait for goodbye.
That track barely made it in. It's what's left when the curtain drops. We didn't end it. We let it dissolve.
There's a note in there that feels like goodbye, but it never says it.
It leaves the engine running and never tells you where it went.
Last track of this album, an instrumental that says more by holding back. That was A Good Exit, No punctuation, just a slow fade.
You've been listening to Thursday's Rounds.
And that was Reckoners of the Afternoon, an album that flickers, bruises, and slips away before the applause even starts.
If something in there felt familiar, that's not an accident. Some songs find you back.
These aren't conclusions. They're reruns of what we never solved. And maybe that's the most honest part.
If you made it through, congratulations. You've just passed the unofficial entry exam.
You got a girl!
You're so funny.
Just that summer.
This was Reckoners of the Afternoon, the full playlist albums up on Deezer, Spotify, and more networks. This is The Gone Kids, an indie rock band that touch you. You'll find them on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. There's more coming. More noises and sounds for the soul.